I think.
Wait, some video games? All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We want to apologize for prattling on for so incredibly long. I want to say thank you to the players for pausing the game for us so that we could talk about nothing for a long time. But now we are back and ready to get onto the Rift here for game number 3. And the fans here as well, certainly sounding pretty ready to get back onto the Rift for this one. And what are the comps again, Kobe?
Well, we did get the Hwei coming in late. I just want to give credit to Hwei himself, because I came into this series, I legit thought that Oner was going to be, Oner versus Hwei was going to be the biggest gap, and Oner was going to gap him. But Hwei has been so good. That Wukong game definitely outclassed him. And so let's see if Hwei, as the Gyos go out.
Wow. IG fans getting loud. Their first taste of victory was pretty sweet here in game number 2. And that does mean they've won one of the games, and the other game they were winning for 80% of it. So it's looking pretty good for IG at this stage. I don't know whether I'm ready to go full Raz on it, but certainly moves in the positive direction. As Keria going to spot TheShy moving down towards this bottom side. And it is going to be a lane swap, this time built by IG. And Keria does have full information of what's going on. So Guma standing in this brush. I don't know whether T1 are too worried about going into a lane swap type scenario, because Yunara also wants to be scaling in this game. Maybe not as much as Smolder does. And not quite as infinitely, but still going to be feeling better on a few items rather than less.
Yeah, I think this is smart from IG. You get to stack your Smolder really easily. If the Smolder had to play into the double range lane there and had to deal with the level 1 of Yunara is actually quite strong because your Q is so strong, then I think this should help out the Smolder scaling and stacking quite significantly. Plus you get out of the Galio Rumble answer there.
Ooh, Slurple flies forward but doesn't manage to find TheShy.
So I guess we'll see, how much will the payment actually be this time around? The Caitlyn Karma was able to get 3 plates worth of payment of extra gold for the lane swap.
And I do feel like Caitlyn is the quintessential I'm going to destroy your turret at 4 minutes, right? Like that's the champion that she is. Yunara, not necessarily quite as much that. And once TheShy hits level 6, it's going to be even more difficult to get lane states in positions that you want, just because of the flexibility that the equalizer gives you. Now we do have a roam over from Meiko though, for a little bit of an angle, hanging out in the fog of war for now to see whether Faker is going to move forward. Rookie down relatively low, and now Meiko going to show himself. Molten Shield comes out, there's the flash, but it's not quite early enough as the chomp comes through, but Faker is going to live. But still, flash employed, that is a big deal. TheShy now in trouble as well, as Gumayusi presses Q and does a bunch of damage. Not quite enough, TheShy will survive.
That is a nice value window for Meiko, because not only do you get the flash, but also the Zenith Blade still following and connecting means a lot of follow-up damage there. They still get the stun, they get a big chunk onto Annie, and Annie with no flash and receiving a large chunk makes it even more difficult here to deal with poke around mid lane. And we see Vi's going mid lane, but Oner's bottom, and they're going for it.
Yeah, Meiko's going to turn up here as they're at least looking to gank a plate towards this bottom side, as there is the knock up, and down goes TheShy. There's first blood for Oner on this Xin Zhao. This is what we wanted to see out of this, guys. Now Meiko could be in trouble as well, but instead, T1 going to take their prize and back away. Hwei moving towards this bottom side as we say it. And IG, they get a teleport in, but remember, that's a turtle port. That's going to take a while to get them there. And there's a handshake for Meiko. Very polite, but unfortunately, not going to be able to stop the back here of Oner, who is now back towards his jungle.
Dude, how clean is Keria? I mean, they go for the plate, like you say, like, oh, we're just mining some gold off your turret, don't mind us. And then Keria moves up, he slides the handshake through, right onto TheShy, gets the rumble, they lock him up and immediately delete him.
And the bailout gives you so much freedom to do that if you can guarantee the kills. As Keria, speaking of kills, this could be another one that Meiko just going to try and zone him away from the turret, get TheShy some much needed money. And now looking to try and put some pressure on. Gumayusi makes his way back. A 2v2 has reformed as Slurple actually getting more value than it normally does. Keria down below 50% though. This is a difficulty as the minion wave also being frustrating. And IG will need to back away. Gumayusi gets towards the wave, which is exactly what he wanted.
Right, clean up those CS. Keria is fine. Of course, Keria has no summer spells after the dive, and so had to be a little bit careful there.
Yep, zapping down the wave is Guma though. And if we have a look at the CS margins between the two bottom laners, although one of them is missing, it is pretty close. Another Zenith Blade going to connect, but already a lot of damage onto Meiko, but Faker is already dead. Oner gets the knock up and takes down the Leona in trade. Now Keria and Gumayusi moving in as well. Wind becomes lightning, doing so much work, and the handshake holds onto TheShy. As now IG looking to turn it around. He's going to silence himself. Keria gets taken out. They trade it for the Rumble, then the bailout. It secures Oner his life, and he gets himself out of there. Gumayusi now trying to deal with Rookie, whose Hwei is getting a bunch of work done. The flash forward from Guma, he's crazy. And Rookie's going to be able to get himself out of there, but man, Guma is angry about what happened in Game 2.
Honestly, I love the action in this series. It is getting bloody in Game 3, and it's very heavily in favor of T1, this blood, Atlas.
Yeah, TheShy is unhinged, man. He just goes for anything that's a potential play. As now Faker eats another Zenith Blade, but now Keria going to be moving over alongside him. But there is the ulti out of Rookie doing so much work with the bailout. Can they actually keep him alive? The answer's no. Rookie gets the kill. And this Hwei could become a problem as this game goes on.
The level 6 advantage for Rookie here. They're able to take down Faker in the aftermath, just as we're saying, oh wow, all this blood, T1 benefiting. They just had previously an over 1,000 gold lead, but it gets chopped down immediately as Meiko and Rookie were able to answer. So Atlas taking stock.
Yeah.
After all the skirmishes here, through the river, Oner benefiting a lot, but Oner now under attack. He gets teleport.
He got the crab. The teleport is coming in here from Keria to try and back him up, and now the grand entrance, the hero's entrance, going to come on through. Justice Punch to catch up to Meiko. The bear is thrown down. And Faker's like, you can have my bear. I'm just going to go back to the wave.
Yeah, a little vengeance there from the mid ganks that Meiko's been throwing towards Faker's way. Gets the bear over the wall, secures the kill here onto Meiko, and probably secures this dragon. Yeah, meanwhile, I do want to say that point out, look at that top lane, because the mini map there, Smolder just been having a very easy time up alone. We haven't had the camera up here by GALA. That's what Smolder wants, it's in a matchup versus a melee champ, stacking away, and good experience for it. Wait.
Oh dear, handshake comes on back through here onto TheShy. Equalizer goes down. There's a crescent guard as Oner trying to keep himself alive. He gets the smite down onto the dragon. As now they go in, Hwei looking for the engage angle, but the bailout is going to be there. Gumayusi keeps himself alive, and Meiko will be able to take him down with the help of Rookie. Off to the side, TheShy on no health, as Faker will once again claim some revenge. One little Q is going to be enough to do it, and Oner takes down TheShy underneath his turret, and so they get the Drake and they win out in the fight.
Oner goes for the chase. He flashes for it. 5 kills for Oner.
That's a big Zhao.
I reverse cursed. I opened up the game saying, oh wow, Hwei. All right, well, here we go. Oner, he had a good ultimate there, so he popped Hwei back with his crescent guard, then goes back and gets the dragon. And then, as you say, this Renata bailout has been buying so much time in so many of these skirmishes. Did revive Guma, even though Rookie still can snipe him and take him down. Huge for T1. They collect the other kills, and now we're going to get to see the Oner part of it. Probably just W flashes. Yep. W flashes, hits it, goes under tower.
And the Q is enough there from Faker as well. And Rookie, without a front line, is unable to do too much. So the Hwei hasn't died yet this game. 2-0-2 is Rookie. He is still in a great position. They're not doing a massive amount of damage at this stage. Merc Treads are what he had to go for to respect the Annie stun. And so it does mean that he's going to take a little bit more time to get fully online.
Yeah. At the very least, he did invest in a Dark Seal, so that's always nice.
That's true.
When the game is this bloody, then you can get that extra value. But definitely, like you're saying, yeah, it does need to scale up a bit with this champion. Get some more AP behind it. And they've got that GALA stacking away on Smolder. 85 stacks for himself, only 9.5 minutes in. Quite nice there. The Cole been ticking down, very calm up there with their lane swap that they opted into.
And they've been opting into a lot of things, like even skirmishes, when they're always going to be a player down at this stage of the game. And so honestly, it feels like it could be a lot worse for IG. But T1 still with about a 2,000 gold lead here as we crest the 10-minute mark. Feels good for the blue side team. But it does feel like there is still that clock ticking down, as Bum, speaking about come down, is going to be joining them towards the top side, but it's just GALA dealing with the minion wave. And Hwei picking some petals, moving towards Faker, who is on the right side of this lane right now. Well, the left side of this lane if you're watching the screen, but the correct side of the lane. And now some plates going to be eradicated from this top lane outer turret.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this is when I was talking about this was what I was expecting from Oner. This was more along those lines of what we're kind of expecting coming in. And he's got this big gold lead. Early Sundered Sky completed always makes you like the king of Summoner's Rift for junglers.
Yep.
With all that extra money. And so he just continues to apply pressure, circles back around here just to make sure that they are going to have the extra push right back in and then can finish up the camps.
Yep, Meiko now going to be holding this wave so the GALA can collect as many of these minions as possible. And Rookie, that's a big chunk onto Faker. If he lands the combos, the Hwei really does a whole lot of work. And it's kind of cheating, right? You get double equalizers in fights as well if he presses the right combo.
Yeah, it's not fun for Annie. You're short range, and so you just get pelted.
And Faker going to take a lot of damage from that spiraling despair. But as you can see, normally, Faker doesn't have too much trouble against the LPL. And you can see also that it's not always 3-0s. It's not clean, but he gets it done in the end. And as we can see right now, T1 in a pretty good position to get themselves towards match point. But on the other side,
there are some players in IG that have had a lot of success versus T1, specifically at MSI, and have beaten T1, the organization, in the past to win MSIs.
And look, as you can see here, the glimmer of hope, Meiko, GALA, and Hwei, who were able to take down Faker in 2022, of course. A lot of the victories that we saw in the head-to-head between Rookie and Faker was group stages, things like this. But Meiko, GALA, and Hwei have done a whole bunch of work. And Meiko, of course, back over 10 years ago at MSI, the very first one.
Also want to point out that it was important that Faker had Keria on speed dial on that last, Hwei ultimate that he soaked under tower, and he was like, immediate redemption.
Redeem me.
Please, immediately redeem me. I need the healing. So he was able to survive that, but yeah, it is the onslaught from the Hwei trying to poke him down under tower, creating the pressure. Still though, Oner is massive with those 5 kills, so he's going to work in tandem with the duo lane there to go steal away the blue, use that pressure, the benefit of all these early skirmishes that they have been able to get for themselves and use that power.
Yeah, speaking of power, this is exactly what T1 wanted as far as this matchup is concerned. Galio has been historically pretty good into the Rumble. Finally, we are actually seeing those two champions going head-to-head. It has a bunch of the items that makes you feel a lot better in the matchup as well. There's a whole bunch of buttons going to be pressed, and you can see that Rookie feeling very good about his position in this game. And as you mentioned before, Oner, he is going to be able to take down this dragon. Let's see whether this is going to be the cease and desist that will actually work, and it does in the blink of an eye. Tibbers gets angry, but he is just 50 gold going over to IG at this stage, as now GALA sneezes on the minion wave. Oner comes on over, but they have full information as to what's happening, and with Rookie and Hwei unlocked from the mid lane, there is no way that this dive is happening.
Ooh, yeah, they defend the bottom side and they delete the mid lane there. That was very nicely done, super easy for IG. Rookie here on the Hwei, looks like he's going to scale pretty quickly. Atlas is going to be accelerated in that scaling endeavors. Almost a 2,000 individual gold lead. And we mentioned the early Dark Seal with all these extra stacks, so much extra power. Blackfire Torch been completed. Lots of damage behind this champion. And if you're looking at how the comps are going to interact later, even though T1 had this big early gold lead, not only did that get chopped down there with the extra kill, but even so, IG are not too scared of later on because they do have range advantages later on. They've got really, really quickly stacking Smolder here, 145 already for GALA.
145 at 14 and a half minutes is absurd.
Yeah, he is stacking super quick. Their Hwei, like we said, is rich and is doing very well in the opener. So, you're going to get to that rapid fire cannon point for Smolder really quickly. So then you can use your rapid fire poke, your Hwei poke, and as long as Vi chooses correct timings, Vi and Leona, then it's going to be hard for T1. They're going to have to choose their moment really quickly since they are at the range disadvantage, and you just kind of got to go for it and make the play fairly quick.
Yeah.
Oner might be able to do that. I mean, he is very strong on Xin, and maybe can find a way to just kind of bully himself in there and get a Galio ult on top or something.
See whether he can find an angle. Of course, Xin Galio has been a combo that T1 have used many, many times in the past. It's not often the Doran on the Galio combo, but Hwei's going to make his way down towards the bottom side, and Doran on the Galio is on our screen, but not for long, as TheShy is going to be able to burn him down. Just checkmate as the jungler walks in.
Yep. Nicely done. Pretty easy there. They knew that T1 were on the top side of the map, collecting those grubs. 3 grubs for 1 Doran.
Yeah.
You like that trade?
I would say it's probably not necessarily the best, especially with this ticking time bomb that is the small dragon that is here on the top side. I feel like IG have found stability, and they've also found themselves a slight gold lead. The one thing that's in T1's favor is the fact that they've stacked up 2 Drakes, and Hextech Soul is ludicrous. We have not necessarily seen it be, you know, immune to losing, but it does certainly help out. And Gumayusi on this Yunara has not necessarily had, you know, those big team fights to really prove himself just yet. We'll see whether he will be able to get that space in order to do so, because he not only has bailout available, but he also has the Galio there with a heroic entrance. He's got this Xin Zhao who's mega fed to help stand in front. See whether it is going to work. As once again, TheShy versus Doran on the top side right now. And with the fact that this game is slowed down, I can't help but feel like T1 need to be starting to get nervous.
Yeah, the big thing for T1 is like, how are they going to force the issue here?
Whoa, there's a flash taunt as Oner's going to move on up to try and take down TheShy. They're walking down the red carpet. He flashes away. The Winds of War comes in, and there's the knock-up. 3 Talon Strike, and down goes TheShy. A 4th death for this Rumble, but killing TheShy, is that a win condition? I don't think so, unless, although I don't think it's a win condition for T1 anyway. As Zenith Blade goes in, the handshake is going to be immune to flash out from Faker. Doesn't want anything to do with that solar flare as Hwei able to get over the top as well with that Vault Breaker, and T1 avoid death.
That is really huge actually for IG to be able to get the flash down on Annie, because if you're looking at ways for T1 to actually force on IG and close distance to that range advantage, as the tower does go down in favor. Yep. Oh, wait a second.
Ooh, who won? Was that T1 that were able to grab it?
That was very close. Let's get the over update.
The shoes did go over to T1, so they, I believe, were able to lock that one up.
Regardless, though, without the flash, like they're really going to be counting on flash engages on the side of T1 to close distance on the Smolder, on the Hwei, that are going to be so powerful. So.
There is Rookie finding some pot shots here, and it's very difficult for T1 to deal with long-range poke.
Poke, poke.
GALA already starting to do damage here as the redemption comes through. Get the health bar back up and ready here for Oner, and they have to be decisive. And they are going to be so, as the ulti comes on down there from Oner. Meiko taking a lot of damage as Mom will be the follow-up, just to zone them away from the area. This is soul point for T1, but they've already invested quite a lot into this play as Faker, without that flash, like you said earlier, is going to turn up. And it's going to be an honest 5v5. The equalizer is there for TheShy. We'll see whether he can layer it in well. As Gumayusi standing in front, wanting to try and find an angle as they are able to take down the dragon. There's soul point, but there is the equalizer down as well from IG. Not necessarily getting the work done that they wanted to, though, as the bear is going to crash on top of the Rumble. He's the first to go down as Gumayusi grabs the kill in the fight, and it's Doran staying alive for so long. IG, that was not the play you were looking for.
Yeah, that was definitely not it. TheShy walks in, he gets blown up right into Tibbers, right into T1. They actually get all of their kills. 3 people down on the side of IG. T1 are going to just explode with the gold here.
Yeah, this tower is going to explode as well, Kobe. Down this one will go. And Gumayusi is the hugest benefactor out of that fight. He already had 2 items completed. We have Doran crashing Shelly into a wall, because why not? And now the Yunara Smolder conversation gets a little bit different, as she is now sitting on 3-1 and 3.
That was such an overchase. This is where you also want the comms listening. Okay, so Hwei initially tries to go for the steal there, and it costs him his flash on the way out. But then they walk forward. TheShy is so far away from the whole rest of the team, and they're going into Oner and, Doran in the pit, who are both tanky. And they're fine in the back of the pit, so TheShy just gets blown up by the other members of T1 on the top side. Then the rest of IG like funneled themselves into the bad spot, right into the Galio ultimate that's in a great circle itself inside of the Dragon Pit. And so that was...
And speaking of circles, the Spiraling Despair was only onto Keria.
Yeah.
And he went down to like 2 health and then didn't even die. And from that point on, Rookie had no mana, was not actually able to participate at all. And now we've moved to a 3,000 gold lead, and Soul Point and Otacon is on the map. T1 are looking for an angle in, but IG do manage to get a few extra members down here early.
Truly a head scratcher there from IG. T1 very happy though. Oner 7 kills, fully stacked bounty on his head. He's got his upgraded boots as well, both items. So yeah, they want to force around Otacon. T1 definitely would like another skirmish here immediately afterwards. This Galio ult has a little bit longer on a cooldown, so may not immediately. They could wait for Doran's cooldown here for Galio ult to come up and then force.
We'll see whether they do look for that angle, as you do have Heroic Entrance able to move him from the mid lane, so extra pressure available here for T1 as the Chu goes wide. And Snare is going to connect onto Oner, but damage onto the Xin Zhao isn't exactly the most permanent. Okay, the flash in from Oner, he finds the knockup, they chase after GALA, Redemption, can it get the kill as hostile takeover comes on through as well? GALA surviving for a very long time, the flash forward from Gumayusi though puts him down, and Rookie will follow suit, both carries in the blink of an eye, and this one is firmly in T1's hands now.
T1 want another fight around Otacon, and they get their fight. Nice initiation there. They're gonna get the prize afterwards as well.
And man, if you like, when I was looking at this composition, I wasn't thinking Flash Auto was going to be the engage option, but that's exactly what Oner was going for, as GALA does get knocked away to relative safety, but he had no health. He just couldn't fight anymore.
Yeah, Keria's ultimate does follow, and then Guma's like, I got this, goes in with the flash, with the dash, closes the distance and chase down the rest of them. And Oner, so much better of a game this time around. You know, charges up his 3-talent strike, preps for the engage, goes for the flash, gets the initial flash out of GALA there, making the Smolder vulnerable to the follow-up engage from T1, and they just blow it wide open. IG had been stacking so well. I mean, now Smolder, you know, is 236, but they've lost all this big, you know, advantage of gold lead that they had and all of everything that was going for IG. Now it's T1 with very large item advantage off the gold, and Dragon Soul coming imminently.
And Hextech Soul will mean that this poke composition is going to struggle a little bit to maintain their position, right? Because it's all about holding on to the phalanx, you know, hold the line, as it were, as the Hextech's going to be leaving Oner out to dry. Now GALA flaps over the wall. It's so much damage, though. Still, Circle not going to be saving the Xin Zhao, and that is shut down money over to Rookie.
That Hex technology is dangerous, Atlas.
It certainly
They warned
is.
us against this in Arcane.
We learnt about it from Arcane. It's now Rookie. Oh no, you should have learnt about it as well. Doran going to be able to finish him off. He's now in an awkward position, but they don't have to deal with the Hwei, who's such a problem. Faker finds the angle onto the Rumble, and somehow their most fed member dying turned into an inhibitor turret?
Yeah, T1 are just gonna flash on you. Everyone flashing over walls here. Doran flashes in, Faker flashes in, T1, they actually even take, wait, Dragon's going down.
Yep, they were looking for the Dragon here. Hostile takeover will be avoided for now, but it's a double taunt beautifully placed here by Doran. It is Hwei denying the soul, but they also managed to get themselves out. The Hex Gates are going to come on through, as well as GALA is going to survive on about 10 health and get out with the highway robbery. I don't think it's going to save the game, but it was pretty funny as another one comes in and Faker says, yeah, fool me once. Yeah, fool me twice. No, that's not going to happen. As Vaultbreaker gets way over the wall, and Oner has respawned and will be able to take down the Vi. Wants to be able to hand the kill over, but isn't going to do so, and will be able to secure it here. 18-8 is the kill score. There's been a lot of deaths in this game, and it's starting to get silly.
Casting with you is always fun, Atlas, but man, I am having fun this series.
Yeah.
Is this what they call the T1 circus?
No, this is called Rise Group, baby. That's what we like to call it. T1 has decided to give us a little bit of a taste from the LCK, and we appreciate it. They were, of course, in the Legend group, but this has Rise all over it.
This has been so much fun. These Hex Gates just providing the extra layer of comedy over the game. And after all of these shenanigans, we are still heading towards a Hex Soul. We are still heading towards another opportunity for T1 to try and collect it. IG, though, they did a good job of avoiding the first one and getting some kills on the way out, too. So GALA, as we mentioned, with this Smolder, still could be a problem. Of course, with all the extra gold that T1 got with the last like 10 minutes of play or whatever, is going to make it a lot more interesting.
Certainly will. Gumayusi does have his Bloodthirst now completed, so 3 items are done for the Yunara. Still probably wanting to get one more to feel fantastic, but still looking good. 2,000 gold in the lead. But we know, I mean, it's Smolder. Like, infinite scaling is a thing that we're going to have to deal with later and later into the game. So T1 still feeling like that clock does exist. 5,000 gold is pretty good for 25 minutes, but it doesn't look good for 35 minutes. And so let's see what kind of moves T1 are going to be able to make, as the Baron has been up for 2 minutes' time. And you can imagine they do want to claim control of the area and try and force this objective as best they can. Look for some turns. Hexgate's going to come on through here as Oner makes his way over. GALA up pretty far. It looks like T1 are just going to start it. Okay, Rookie gets some damage down onto Faker. Heroic entrance comes on in. Faker survives for such a long time as it's jungler for mid laner. And I think T1 are feeling pretty good about that. No smite left on the Rift, and T1 are back on the objective again.
Yeah, they're going to force IG to come to them.
All right, hostile takeover comes through. The immediate cleanse out from GALA, though, who's doing a lot of work. Gumayusi just dives into the front line. I don't know whether that's a good call, as the taunt is going to go wide. Now Gumayusi has to avoid everything as the ulti from Oner. He goes down into his GA, and they take out Meiko. I don't know how this is working, but it's looking pretty good at the moment for T1. But the shutdown comes in. The answer from GALA. And T1 will have to back away.
Ooh, GALA able to kind of clutch here. I mean, honestly, I thought Oner was going to stay in when he revived from his GA. Maybe it's a miscommunication because Oner flashed out when Doran went in to go for the further engage onto Rumble. So a little bit of miscommunication there for T1 in a clutch moment. And it opens up the door here for IG, Atlas.
And it closes the door on the T1 Baron, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was what they were looking for. And it almost looked like they were able to claim it.
Now IG.
Not in the end. Oh man, I am so scared of GALA. This little dragon just does so much damage. They've started off the Baron themselves now, but they're looking for a turn angle. GALA taking a lot of Baron damage, as we can see. Doran getting in amongst it and immediately regrets that decision. Is able to flash his way out, but that is a big cooldown. You mentioned flash engages are what T1 are all about. That is not going to be available here for the Galio. Keria moving on over. They want to take control of this, as Keria is well and truly far up in this lane as they look for TheShy. He flashes out of the way of the taunt. That looks pretty good for Gumayusi. He's able to finish him off. Still, Rookie does so much damage and he's held in place as Hwei says no to Gumayusi, and he's so much more important to this team than TheShy is to IG. As long as GALA is alive, IG can win fights.
Oh man, they have to commit so far to get the kill that then they're giving back the trade kill each time. And IG do get to push the minion waves after, and they still, like, they have objective bounties up for IG because of the 3 dragons, because of the gold lead for T1. Wait a second.
They're going to be face checking here as the Vault Breaker brings Hwei in, but he likes that opportunity. As you can see, Rookie over to the side, and he's starting to do more and more damage with double burn items now completed. GALA takes some Winds of War damage. T1 are able to back themselves out, but this is another opportunity for Soul that it looks like T1 are going to get denied. Oh, are they just going to move towards the Baron? Is that going to be the opportunity here, as the Drake will be secured here by Hwei, but he's going to be out of position on a potential Baron take. Gumayusi now going to be moving back forward. And T1, this is looking so dicey. That gold lead is evaporating as we speak.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty fake gold lead because of how well IG, scale with their range later. GALA and Rookie here on the Hwei and the Smolder are so dangerous. So you're looking at the flashes on T1, and all of the initiators do not have their flashes anymore.
Yep.
So GALA can play so aggressively. His cleanse is coming back up.
And cease and desist just came off cooldown, so Hwei, he can do it again. He can find another angle onto Gumayusi, who does have his flash up, but flashing isn't going to help you when the Vi is definitely just going to throw you into the sky and slam you down. T1 are going to be pushed away from this river. The Dragon taken for free here by IG, and T1 unable to find any sort of avenue to get themselves priority around the Baron. And now that gold advantage, half of what it was when we were talking about it before. T1 gonna have to find something and find it soon.
Well, Guma might find an infinity edge soon.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So that would be something. That would be some big damage here. He has been jumping in and collecting a lot of these extra kills here when T1 need to get scrappy. But the key flashes, okay, Oner's is the closest to coming back up.
Yeah, his GA also on the way as well. More than 3/4 done.
Atlas, Keria has swapped over to a Smite here for Spellbook Smite. Are they going to do some objective stuff here?
Some shenanigans,
some
perhaps?
Shenanigans, perhaps. Maybe make IG come into a position where they get a really good Renata ultimate or something for themselves?
See whether that is going to be the angle. We know that it's going to be the Baron because it's T1. They do like Barons. It's something we've said before. There's a reason. As IG, they know this. Going to look to try and replace that ward. Rookie with a lot of extra range is able to deter Keria from staying around the area. And
Keria's area.
Clear out this wave towards the top side as well. T1, I think, getting ready for a play. Slurkle slows down the Vi here as the sneeze is going to come on through, but GALA is just getting so much more scary. 370 stacks! The execute threshold is going to be 50% soon!
at least that did get changed and nerfed, so.
Yeah, you do need a lot more stacks than that. However, you know, as the game goes on, those stacks get easier and easier to get as long as you stay fighting over and over again. Total gold, it's going to be Gumayusi in the lead, but Rookie hot on his heels, as we can see here. And GALA getting pretty close as well. The flash over the wall there from Hwei as they're looking to try and take down the enemy jungler, and Hwei, there's just no option. He's staying alive for a long time, but there's no follow-up, there's no option. And IG now just a man down and a smite down for this next fight. Oner looking a little bit lower, but he has that GA back off cooldown once again, and they're on the Baron once more. Doran, is he going to get turned on as GALA does a lot of damage, as you can see there. The Slurkle slows him down, and now Faker looking to chase them out of this river. Hostile takeover just to buy the space, and the purple worm will be the reward. T1 managed to capitalize on Hwei's mistake.
Huge, huge for T1. Kill off the jungler, grab the Baron. Now they can take so much more. All right, they were gonna have a problem, you know, sieging and actually taking towers. But with the Baron buff, this is just what they need. Doran's got a Mid-Eyes, by the way. 12 stacks on that Mid-Eyes for that Galio. Definitely some power there. All right, T1, is this Baron going to be exactly what they need to actually tip it over? Because the next Dragon Soul that comes up is just over a minute away, so they can use this Baron to take so much extra space on the map.
Yeah, that's the thing, is if they guarantee this next Drake with the Baron, oftentimes, right, you don't have just this monopoly of Drakes that T1 have put together early. That Soul Point is so incredibly important, and it's likely that T1 will be able to make it impossible for IG to contest around that Dragon Pit, especially when their composition is kind of finicky, right? You do need to get into position to really work so that Rookie can take these pot shots and utilize the vision advantage that he does have. As you can see there, if he can do it, Keria almost dies. But things are getting dark on this map, and look at this. It's lit up completely by T1 and their vision.
Guardian Angel on Oner, Zhonya's on Doran. A lot of survivability for those people that want to get right in the front too. Faker here, trying to play around some pockets of vision, play around some walls. He's got his flash ready and willing to use it.
And as Doran just going to be rocketing towards this bottom side of the map, TheShy going to be spotted out here as the fear is good onto Doran. Takes half of his health bar and he's still burning. As the redemption, not actually going to be used for the Galio. He is just going to get sniped here off to the side, and buying so much time is IG. As T1, they still have the Baron, but you wouldn't know it from what we're seeing in this game. As the teleport to bring the Galio back, that might be the opportunity. This could be a 50-50 as Oner in position, but he wants to start the fight instead. They take down the Drake. That's going to be the soul for T1, and Meiko limping out as cease and desist is going to do nothing at all. Faker just throws the fire away, and Rookie goes down on the back end, and T1 just steamroll them.
Guma got the soul, and T1 are gonna get the game. The Shy's running, but there's nowhere for him to flee. T1 will walk inside the base.
Yep, they're just going to push this minion wave forward, and it looks like match point for T1. Our 4th seed from the LCK will crash down these Nexus turrets and see whether they can, in fact, make it to the Swiss stage and hold on to hope for 3 in a row. We'll take another Nexus going down, though, and IG, they do tend to like it on the ropes.